As you can see, we're going solo dolo on this one. We're flying this one. We're building this one as we fly it. So this is what we're going to do. We're just gonna go over the main news of today, which is justice has been served. And I'm gonna be using that Rocada Law YouTube channel because Law and Order, I think Law and Crime, their YouTube channel. Oh, perfect. Rocada has it. There are a bunch of copyright cucks. So I rather use his stuff because I like him and I watch his stuff. And you guys should watch his stuff over this cucks. This is the face of a defeated woman, of a liar, of a garbage human being that used the suffering and pain of others to do damage upon one of the most, from what I can tell, one of the most nicest people that I have never met. One person, as of Johnny Depp, whose only criticism is that he's too generous. That has been his main criticism. Now, I'm not going to go over the verdict. You guys can see it. I just wanted to show how defeated this person is because she might as well just go cry. She already purchased a like $500,000 home somewhere in LA. She's going to have to hide there for the rest of her life after she pays Johnny because she needs to pay him a lot of freaking money. She needs to pay him a total of, let me see if I can do this a little bit quicker than last time, which that's not going to be the case. Let me stop screening that. Share screen, boom. There you go. She needs to pay him $10,350,000 minus the 2 million that she won, which is 8,350,000. So let me just give you a quick explanation. Why is it 10,350,000 instead of 15? So there's something called defamatory damages. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. Uh, the statutory damages. Statutory damages. Essentially, they are damages that the jury can the jury gives as a punishment, so that way people are not encouraged to do this again. So like, let's just say I get in a car accident and I'm asking for like I don't know, like $1,000, whatever. The jury could grant me $5 million as statutory damages. That way, it discourages people from I don't know drinking and driving, right? Because they will know even if I'm asking only for $1,000, the jury can give me 5 million. The problem is that in some states that is capped. So that means that if in this case they gave him $5 million, however the cap is 350,000. So that's why Johnny only gets 350,000 for statutory damages. He was asking for 50. He got 10 plus 350,000. And I mean that's your number. Minus the 2 million from Amber, that's 8,350,000. That is a huge victory because realistically speaking, he was not really supposed to win this. Defamation cases are extremely difficult, especially when it comes to public figures. And this is honestly a big surprise. Not after we heard all the evidence, because we know she's a lying sack of shit. But it is what it is. Something is something, and she is feeling the burn. So this is what we're gonna do. Let's go over both of their responses. I want to go over Amber's first. Then we're gonna go on Twitter, check some responses that I didn't like at all, and I want to go over. And I would like to talk about her lawyers for a second. So yeah, so let's do that real quick, right? Let me take that away, man. Thank God I'm not streaming this thing, bro. Okay, Johnny Depp's Twitter. I think let's do Amber's because F her. All right, we got Amber Heard's Twitter. Let's go over her response. Her response is sweet and stupid. So let's get it out the way. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could publicly shamed, and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. It's a little bit weird, right? I don't think, I think there's a typo in there. Sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. Maybe she meant it shouldn't be taken seriously, right? Okay. I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was conclusive that we won in the UK. I am sad. I'm sad I lost this case, but I'm sadder still that I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. Okay, let's break this apart because I'm already getting a little bit heated. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken at the mountain of evidence. You didn't have a mountain of evidence. She didn't have a mountain of evidence. This is one of the problems that she had when she was testifying. She told Camille Vasquez, I have a mountain of evidence and they're not showing it to you. Camille went up to the judge, and the judge should have said something to her immediately. Should have said, you do not have a mountain. Should have just said, stop saying that. Or should have said it to the jury. All the evidence that was in, we're giving it to you guys, whatever we could verify. She does not have a mountain of evidence, but she's going to continue with this narrative because that's what benefits her. Because in reality, we all saw the evidence. She doesn't. Now she talks about, I'm even more saddened with what the verdict means for other women. Women like you, women who lie, women who do not have evidence, which I'm sorry, when you go on court, in court, it is not what happened, is what you can prove. If you had actual proof, if you had just one clip of Johnny saying, I'm sorry for hitting you. If you have one clip, the way Johnny had a clip on you when you were saying, go tell the jury and see what they think. See if they believe you. If you just had one thing, all of this would have been avoided. But you didn't have anything. You had duplicated photos, Photoshop pictures. You didn't have anything. You had nothing. And your powerful husband was destroyed for over 4 years. Couldn't get a job, couldn't get a gig, couldn't get nothing. So I don't know what you're talking about, disproportionate power or influence. The man couldn't get a job and you had yours. And you lost yours because you're a horrible actress. I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech. BS on that. Because it is a lot easier to believe you on your freedom of speech argument when you're not countersuing your husband for the same thing that he's suing you for. You are saying that you have the right to say what you want in your op-ed of your opinion. So as his lawyer, which you had your problem with, you are countersuing him out of pity for words he didn't even say. So this argument of freedom of speech doesn't apply to you. And don't bring the UK. F the UK. There were a bunch of evidence that was denied. And on top of that, the trial was against the son, not against you. You like the UK so much, go back to the UK. We don't want you here. You're garbage. I'm sad I lost this case, but I'm sadder that I still seem to have lost a right. Lose it. I don't give a damn. You should be in jail, in my opinion. But this was not a criminal case. You got what you got what you deserved. Probably less. F Amber Heard. So let's go to Johnny the King. That's all we really care about, Johnny, because his response is the ones that really matters to me. Anyway, stop screening. Boom. Shared. Johnny. Here comes Johnny. Johnny, this is a little bit too much for me, Johnny. You're gonna have to give me some sympathy in this bitch. Okay. 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of the people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed, all in the blink of an eye. False, serious, and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content. Although no charges were ever brought against me, it had already traveled around the world twice within nanoseconds, and it had a seismic impact, seismic impact of my life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I'm truly humbled. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdles that I will be facing and the inevitable worldwide spec- spectacle into my life, was only made after that one I can read. Considerable thoughts. From the very beginning, the goal from the very beginning, the goal of bringing this, I cannot read that one. From the very beginning, the goal bringing this case was to reveal the truth regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something that I owe to my children and to all those who have remained steadfast in their support of me. I feel at peace knowing I have finally accomplished that. Johnny, I love it with all my heart, but do me a favor. Just can you like fix some of this stuff? I mean, I can barely. This is not a whatever. Anyways, I'm just trying to find an excuse for my poor reading. Look, I think that this is. I feel extremely happy for this because this is a victory not only for men but for women. I can only imagine how he feels being able to look his children right in the eye and finally being able to tell them, I prove that I'm an innocent man. Because although they believed him, it is one thing, I guess, to just take your word for it, but then have everyone else accuse your father of hitting a woman, of doing terrible, unspeakable things to a woman. But it's another thing to be able to have proof, to know that your dad fought for the truth and he won. So that actually warms my heart. I was extremely satisfied with the outcome. So yeah, I don't really have much to say. I'm just extremely happy with the outcome. This is a victory for all victims, men and women. Not like Amber's trying to spin it to be this man versus female thing that female are in trouble. Like so BS from my opinion. In my opinion. So either way, I'm extremely happy for Johnny. Um, I wish. I mean, Amber. I don't think she has the money to pay him, but it's just that like that jab at her face, like you lost, is all that I really care about. I'm extremely happy for that. I honestly, I was getting anxiety. I remember I was in the van, in the car, and I was just waiting for the outcome, for the verdict. Then it cocked us a little bit because the jury forgot to put like a number on damages. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, man, they have to be for Johnny. It has to be for Johnny because there's no way in hell you give this woman anything. So let's just move on to the following thing. Let me take this two things. Let's move on to the verdict. The verdict. Because the jury, so I think this was I think that it was an inconsistent verdict. The reason being because I don't think that you can side with Amber and Johnny at the same time. Because in a way, they both won. I believe this was the question. Uh, quite simply, this was an absurd, Jesus. Quite simply, this was an ambush, a hoax. They set Mr. Depp by calling the cops, but the first attempt did not do the trick. The officers came to the penthouse. Jesus. Sorry. Okay. Quite simply, this was an ambush, a hoax. They set Mr. Depp up by calling the cops, but the first attempt did not do the trick. The officers came to the penthouse, through, thoroughly searched, destroyed that word, and interviewed and left after seeing no damages to the face or property. So Amber and her friends spilled a little wine and roughed the place up, got their story straight and under the direction of a lawyer and a publicist, and then placed a second call to 911. The jury sided with her here. Um, I don't know how, because you will have to link this statement to Johnny, and I don't think that Amber's counsel did that. Either you believe her 100% or you don't believe her. And if you believe Johnny's story and you believe that everything was a setup, because that's what the evidence shows, then I don't know how you will give this to her. My opinion is that what ended up happening was there was one juror that had to be on Amber's side and he was not going to budge. So they basically gave him a gift. As in, here, we all want to go home. Let's give her 2 million. That was the size of her contract for Aquaman 2. We give her one victory and we can all get the hell out of here. That is, in my opinion, what the hell ended up happening. And that's the only way I can see this happening, because you both can't win. Both can't win. It doesn't make any sense for both of them to win. So that is my take. That's what I actually think happened. That's what I think happened. Yeah, because I mean, do you find Mr. have proven all the elements of defamation? I will say no, but they say yes. Mr. Warren, while acting as an agent, they have not proved. Yeah, this was a gift. In my opinion, this was a gift from the jury to Amber, just to kind of get that one juror on their side. Because other than that, I don't see this at all. But it is what it is. You got, take the victory when you can, and just take the L. It was a small L. It is what it is. The narrative still stands. She defamed him. He has his life back. He's already being casted in Beetlejuice. He's already on a tour with a beautiful model, Kate. I bet she's salty as hell, man. If I was her, ooh, salty. Okay, so I think that's that. I just want to go over that for a little bit, just because I just found it interesting. The only thing that it could be was that there was this motion by Ben Shu. Show you right now. There was this motion by Ben Shu. Basically, Ben Shu wanted to redact a statement that Rottenborn did in his closing, where he basically said that choosing for Johnny was going to affect all victims all around, the message that you would have sent, yada yada yada. So he wanted the judge to redact that statement. The problem is that the jury already heard that statement. They should have objected to it right on the spot, right when it was happening. They should have objected to it. They didn't. And I kind of agree with the judge. I mean, what are you supposed to do at that point? I mean, the jury already heard it. If I go back there and I tell them, hey, delete that from your minds, they're not going to delete that from your minds. They're not going to delete it from their minds, and it's still all going to be the same. And you could say it might be prejudicial, because she is going back there basically telling them, hey, forget what he said. And that could change something. It could be brought up on appeal. So I mean, I think the judge's hands were tied at that point. I mean, there was really no point of her doing that. But Rottenborn and Lane did this the whole trial. They were constantly trying to get stuff in, so that the jury could hear it, even though they were not supposed to. And I think the judge should have called them out a little more on that. But this judge was fair. I think she kind of let you float on your own merits. Meaning, if you're gonna object to something, object to it. If you don't and you're supposed to, then she's not gonna object for you. You either sink or swim. Sink or swim. So I think that was used from her. All right. So one more thing. Let's go on Twitter real quick, because I checked Twitter this like 10 minutes ago, and I just couldn't believe some of the things that I was seeing. So one of the first things that I saw was this: we are deeply concerned that her decision will set precedent, exacerbating barriers victims face in coming forward. The trial and its reception demonstrated a regressive trend of retaliation against those who speak out about violence or abuse perpetrated by those in power. No, bullshit. That's no, no. This is meant to be a warning to those that come out without zero evidence. You cannot make accusations for the sake of accusations. You need to be backed by something. We cannot allow people to just accuse others and ruin each other's lives without proof. You're supposed to be innocent into proven guilty, not the other way around. Here, let me show you this other one from this girl. And no, look, this is obviously the Heard, public image team trying to help him out. New TikTok trend mocking Amber Heard's testimony of Johnny Depp allegations abuse, featuring people pretending to slap her, is getting tens of millions of views. TikTok said that the trend violates its anti-bullying policy. This was back in May something, because I'm pretty sure this freaking, I know this retard says something before. I'm not supposed to say retard, but like, he's a fucking idiot. One attorney tells me the verdict could have chilling effects on survivors who come forward to speak about abusers on social media, even anonymously. People should know and be careful when they opine on Facebook and Instagram. There is exposure there. This is a gag mouth of. So I'm glad you have that belief. Wait, Amber Heard had more evidence than 99.999% of domestic abuse survivors have to support her claims of abuse, and jury. No, bullshit. No, she didn't. Let me just sum it up for you guys. Essentially, what's happening is that some people are arguing that Amber Heard losing is detrimental to victims, or specifically females, and they're also claiming that some victims are pulling back their claims. Johnny is the victim here. He had more proof than Amber. More proof than Amber. If the proofs were flipped, meaning that Johnny had Amber's evidence, and Amber's had Johnny's evidence, it would have been case closed. Nobody would argue that. But they want to ignore that and turn it into a woman suffering thing. This is a man and woman are victims of domestic violence, both equally, and this is a woman who abused them. In my opinion, this is just an attempt to protect, in a way, the Me Too, because Amber has been connected to the Me Too for so long that I think that some people in that movement can't separate themselves from her, which is really easy. She's an abuser. Just call her out. Just call her out. You're an abuser. You're not. We stand with victims, not abusers. Me Too is not supposed to be only for females. It's supposed to be for men too. That's why the title "Men Too" was coming around, or that it was trending for so long. So that's BS. That's BS. If you support Amber Heard, you're supporting abusers. That's the way I see it. And if you are a actual victim, if you have actual proof, go to the police, as you should. As you should. And if you don't, understand that that's not how the law works. You don't have the right, because of the First Amendment, to lie and destroy people's lives. You don't. So I think the Washington Post too. Let me see if I can find the Washington Post. Because I'm pretty sure they were backing Amber Heard. Was it the Washington Post or somebody else? I don't know who the hell, but I'm not going to look for this broad right now. Oh, it is a word of remembrance. Shit. Okay. I don't think it was the Washington Post, but I look for them another time because it doesn't really matter at this point. Yes, that's my opinion. There's a lot of people online just losing their minds. We stand with Johnny. That's what we stand with. He's the victim, not her. Her life is completely over, as it should be, for being a lying sack of shit. See, Sam is not here, so I can say whatever fuck I want. That's the First Amendment speech. The First Amendment. Okay, listen. Last thing before I leave. This video is like 25 minutes, although I kind of rambled on a little bit too much. I think mainly on the reading, but it is what it is. I don't usually go solo. I'll start going a little bit solo more often. But let's just talk about one more thing that I've been wanting to talk about, and it's this. So late after the trial, this was the last day of the trial last week. Uh, Late after the trial, before the jury went home, Elaine Berhoff left the bathroom crying. We all felt terrible for her after she came out. We tried to make her smile, and I hope it helped. James from court has been on the site. He's been, reporting what he sees, especially the jury's reactions. Look, I was not a fan of Rottenborn's closing. It was he was he was saying what he needed to say. He was making the arguments he needed to make. I feel those arguments were ludicrous. I feel the argument that, you know, if you side with Amber, imagine the message you send to abuse victims, I think is horrible because I think it's a lie. But that's Amber's attorney. That's the argument he needs to make. I understand that most of us are on Johnny's side, and we see Rottenborn and Elaine as a representation of Amber, so we tend to make fun of them. Understand. However, in my opinion, I think that they did the best job that they could. They had a, let's be honest, a detestable client, unlikable, talentless, horrible in every face of the word. I mean, this woman changed her story every 30 minutes. And the fact that they got this far, the fact that they got her 2 million, eh, the fact they got something out of it, the fact that Johnny didn't get 50, but got instead 8,350,000 instead of 50, that's a victory within it of itself. And I know that Amber doesn't see it that way. And frankly, I don't give two F's what the hell she thinks. She can hide in her famous home that she's going to have for the next year because Johnny's going to collect that money. She can hide in her little home all she wants. But her attorney did the best job that they could. Is sad that they're not going to get the credit they probably deserve. In my opinion, Rottenborn tried. I think he mounted the best defense that he could. There are multiple angles they would have done. Listen, I'm willing to bet that if Rottenborn and Elaine had complete power or the way all of this would have gone, I think she would have won. But she seems as a control freak that wanted to have this abuse battle that she wanted to get understand and be held as the victim that she is, and everyone sides with her. That's what she wanted, but that's not what she got because the internet doesn't work that way. The internet can smell BS, and they smelled it a mile away for months, for years. After that, the audio leak came out. She was screwed then. But in defense of Elaine and Rottenborn, they're good lawyers, especially Rottenborn. Rottenborn is a great lawyer, in my opinion. He did the best that he could. But when you have such a dumpster fire, I mean, what the hell are you supposed to do? I mean, you're not supposed to, you can't put that fire out. It's freaking over, in my opinion. So, look, I think we're done here. You're fine. Yes, I think, yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, I think this is where I end it. Yeah, I'm just looking at some Twitter. Yeah, so although there's a couple of negative comments from some, I guess, Amber supporters, there's overwhelming support for Johnny, as it should be. I am super glad with the verdict. I think we're done here. I'm super glad with the verdict. Can you camera zoom in? There you go. I am super glad with the verdict. It was definitely a crazy, 6 months, 6 weeks and a half It's finally over. I can't wait to see Johnny get back on the big screen. He's living his life. I cannot imagine the level of emotion that he has to be feeling right now. I don't know what the hell I will feel. I think this is a victory for men and women included, for victims. This is a warning for those lying sack of shits, men and women who are going to destroy your lives. That, hey, you can get clapped back now. Now, if you lie about a woman's reputation, you cannot run around with your First Amendment right calling, but it's just my opinion. Why can't I just call her a whore? And no, go get clapped back. If you're a woman, you cannot just throw false accusations because you woke up one morning and you were like, damn, his dick was small. I didn't like him. So let me just say these horrible accusations. You're going to get clapped back. If you're a man, you cannot be mad and throw false accusations at her because she didn't want to sleep with you, because she'll clap back. So Johnny is the hero we all wanted, the one we deserve. Oh, man, I forgot the Batman quote. Listen. I'm stoked. I'm super happy for this verdict. I'm going to leave. There's probably more content that I'm going to upload on my own. It's only 31 minutes and something, so I might like divide it into two, and then we move on from there, guys. All right. This is J Raw, J Raw, J Rants. I'm gonna call it J Rants. J Raw, J Rants. One of those two. Sorry for the unprofessionalism that I have. I'm gonna start doing my own content in a few. It's just myself. It's gonna be rated R for psychos, ricos. I gotta make it work. Let me see. I'm gonna put this up because listen. Let's be honest. Sam is not here, so that means that I'm probably this channel is gonna get demonetized when I start talking. I mean, we're not even monetized. What I give it? What? I don't know why he cares so much. Anyway, guys, take care. If you came this far, thank you. It means a lot. I am not perfect, but I am funnier. So, all right, peace out.